Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I have two things I want to discuss with you today. I want your opinion, I want your expertise, I want to know what you would do in my shoes, or if it happened to you as a shipper. Right, number one, Monday I put a job up on the Courier exchange, and that job was collect Birmingham in a Luton curtain side that can carry 2.3 metres in height, which, believe it or not, are quite rare. Most of them are topped at 2.2, so you need an oversized one, and drop it off in Stockport. Now, I put this job on the CX because I put it in the WhatsApp group as well, but I never get any, and occasionally I get some quotes on the CX. And we've not done a job like this in a little while. I used to have a couple of regulars I used, and one of the regulars that I used to use quoted on the job, same price that he always quoted me, high, around £2.50 a mile. So I booked him in anyway. I phoned him, he was like, yeah, no worries, same ones as normal, yeah, okay, no problem. My driver is going to pick it up in my van tomorrow, so it was due to be picked up Tuesday. So Tuesday comes along, I don't know what I'm doing something, but anyway, driver picks up, gets back to Stockport, and one of the office staff is there to do the offloading because the other lads have had to go out. And I get a phone call, this van's not big enough. So I was like, what are you talking about? Well, they've had to tilt it to get it in, so this van's not big enough. Like, oh Christ, because they can't be tilted, these cabs, they need to be stood up straight, forked on, forked off. To be fair, when I heard they tilted it to get it in, I was very surprised, because normally the place that we pick up from will not have that. But they couldn't get one of the two cabs that's been picked up off the van with the fork truck. They needed tilting. So something was a bit wrong. Either the van was too small or the cab was too big. So you're supposed to be picking up two cabs, 2.3 and a 1.7 metre tall one. And when the lads finally got back, it was 2 hours later to offload him, and there was a bit of back and forth between me and the guy I'd booked. Like, is your van too small? Is it a different van to normal? No, it's the same van as normal. It wasn't the same van as normal. But what had happened was the van was too small, for one. It wasn't 2.3 because the cab, we measured it, was only 2.2. They sent a smaller version anyway. But they'd actually sent two of the same size ones. One was a 2.15, one was a 2.2, one was an indoor, one was an outdoor. And we were confused because obviously there should have been a 1.7, a small one. So after a bit of back and forth with the customers and everything like that, we figured out that the bigger one that was struggling to get off and was still on the van is actually the one we needed, and the other one, which came off the van, needed to go back on the van because it needed to go back to Birmingham the next morning. So I agreed a rate with them. Well, what happened was the customer went, right, we think it's going to have to go back to Birmingham, is that okay with you? Said that to the driver. So the driver went, yeah, that's fine. And then he went, James will phone you and book it all with you. He's like, who's James? That's where the confusion starts. James at Freddie Fletcher Limited, you know, who books all our jobs for us, who booked you. I wasn't booked by James. Definitely didn't sound like a James. Oh, okay. So, anyway, I booked the same company and the same driver to do return to Birmingham, offload in the morning, reload, and come back to Stockport and meet me. So there I was, Wednesday morning, waiting for the driver to arrive. And there he is, he arrives in his big blue Transit curtain sider. And yeah, it wasn't the usual van as I was told. And I got talking to the guy, and yeah, he didn't get subbed by me. He got subbed by the people I subbed to. So they had reposted my job. Well, actually, I didn't get the full details. I don't know if they reposted it or they phoned him direct because he's based in the same area. But he's a brand new courier on the exchange, and they've resubbed my job to him as their job. I don't think that should be allowed. I think that's a bit naughty, because I'm picking certain people for their feedback, for their money, etc. And then he's subbing it out. He made quite a profit on me, quite a profit off that driver from what he paid him. So he's re-subbed my job, but he could have given it to anybody. Any Tom, Dick or Harry could have done that job. Don't matter what feedback they've got, but I'm there trying to hand-pick certain people to do a good job, and I get somebody that I don't know and I've never met before. Luckily enough for me, he's an ex-wagon driver. He's just started on the CX. He's just got his van, and he was really sound, nice bloke. And now I know what his CX ID is, so I can book him instead if I need to. But I won't be booking them again, because I'm not having them re-subbing out my work. That's not on to me. So that is number one. What do you think of that? What would you do in my opinion? What would you do, etc. How would you react? I've heard stories of it happening before, and the exchange don't really do anything about it unless you've put in your job description cannot be resubbed. But that's pretty obvious anyway, that shouldn't be allowed. Right, so issue number 2 was today. I booked a job out, and the job was, I can't remember where it was going, but it was 111 miles, small van, and according to the CX and my Google Maps and my Apple Maps, it should have took about 2 hours and 15 minutes. After 2 hours and 15 minutes, I phoned the driver because I saw where he was on his tracker, and he was still over an hour and a half away. And he said, oh yeah, I've been stuck in traffic, I didn't get loaded till such a time, which I then confirmed with the customer. He got loaded much earlier than that, an hour earlier in fact. So what had he been doing? Where had he been? And then I went a bit deeper into his replay, so you can, on the tracker you can see where they currently are and what route they're taking, but if you go in the replay then you can see exactly what they've been doing. So he'd actually just, he's done a couple of loops, he's been here, he's been there, he's not been on the route, he's been off it a fair few times, and he had no explanation for that. And then when he got about half an hour away from the delivery destination, he turned his tracker off, or his tracker went off. So in total, instead of 2 hours 15, which obviously we can give like a bit of leeway with, like 3 hours maybe, so it should have been delivered for like say 10 past, quarter past 3 maximum. 4 o'clock he delivered, and let's say yeah, nobody was happy about that. I wasn't kept up to date, his tracker was turned off, and he delivered, we're looking at between an hour and 2 hours after he should have, really. What do you think? I've emailed the CX. I actually emailed the CX whilst the job was in progress, because I looked at his tracker and he'd come off route a few times and gone. He added like an extra 45 minutes to an hour on, just doing like a little detour. I don't know if it was a detour or it was on his way to pick up another job or deliver another job or whatever. But I asked the CX to check if he'd been doing another job at the same time, and they replied saying, get this job delivered first, don't make any complaints until it's delivered, and then put a complaint in against him. That's the only way we can look into it. So this evening I will be putting a complaint in, just to see. Obviously if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, they can get the complaint squashed. But if I'm right, he's been co-loading, or he's been up to something, or he's already had a load on, because all it was a box that he was picking up. My job description is everything is urgent, you cannot deviate from the route, and if you're going to be more than half an hour late, you need to phone me and let me know urgently. So he didn't do any of that. I did get the photo of the delivery which I asked for, which I'm very grateful for, but he didn't phone me and let me know he was going to be late. I had to keep chasing him up, and he did deviate from the route a fair few times, and just, it seemed like, because he kept stopping and then starting again 5-10 minutes later, so it just seemed to me that he was up to no good. But what's your opinion on that? What would you do in my situation? Would you do the same thing I've done and go to them and try and find out if He has been co-loading, and to be fair to the courier exchange, they replied within probably an hour, so very pleased with that. But yeah, right, what is your opinion on them two situations that have happened over the last few days? What would you do in my shoes? What would you have done differently? Yes, when I booked the drivers, they both had no negative feedback. One I'd used 15 times before, that's how many times I've used them. And yeah, what's your opinion? Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.